CIA trains through a method called just-in-time learning, also known as experiential training or experiential learning. So they'll teach you a concept academically. You'll learn a concept, slideshow or classroom or whatever else, and then you'll go out and you'll practice that concept in a scenario. So with an actor or with a role player.
Oh, okay. You're not just going to a coffee shop and doing it.
And then once you have shown that you understand the concept in a role play, you're in the real world doing it. And that's how you cement a skill before you come back.
How much are these actors fucking with you in these? Like, how tricky are they making things?
Yeah.
So
do they even know?
Oh yeah,
because the actor's blind in it.
They're not actors like you're thinking of actors. They're role players, meaning they are CIA officers who have already been through the ringer, and now they're helping to train the next generation.
Is this at the farm?
So correct. The farm is our training academy, and there are multiple schools that we have. The farm is the most famous. But that's where we go through. That's the most practical, real-world example of our full experiential learning cycle.
Could you give us an example of one of these exercises?
Sure. So there's one of my favorite exercises is a free cup of coffee exercise. So you have to get a free cup of coffee. But there's certain stipulations. You can't ask for a free cup of coffee. You can't trade somebody for a free cup of coffee. But you have to get a free cup of coffee.
Can you be a woman?
Many of them are born that way, yes.
So unfair. Okay, go on.
So what you have to do is they will teach you, like, here's how you create reciprocity, and here's how you create interest, and here's how you create value for somebody in excess of what a cup of coffee costs. And then here's how you put yourself in a position with somebody where they connect on their own through some kind of, what was the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? Inception.
Yeah.
The essentially the real world version of Inception.
What's it called? Neuro linguistic programming or something like that?
Some people call it. But you're basically planting an idea. You're priming an idea.
Yeah.
So here's how you prime someone for an idea where they are like, I just had a great conversation with you. I want to buy you a cup of coffee.
What a fascinating way to break down human behavior. If I want a free cup of coffee, I give him value emotionally that is worth more than a free cup of coffee.
Or intellectually. You give me value in the way that I care most about value.
And then leave a gap where they can fill it.
Now, the cup of coffee you're getting from a stranger, not from the person at the coffee shop?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay.
Oh, I
thought you have to charm the barista.
You can. If you find yourself selecting a coffee shop where you don't have other people in line.
Okay.
Being in line with somebody is a benefit because you got what we call time on target. But when you go up to a barista, how long is a barista used to dealing with a customer?
It's 12 seconds.
How are you going to create value in 12 seconds?
Oh, wow.
How big is the farm? Is it like Westworld where it's just like hundreds of people like just living in a scenario?
I mean, essentially, it's a base. The farm is a giant retired military base. Instructors live there. Students live there. Contract personnel stay there for long deployments. Like, it's a self-contained place. And they have total control over your entire student experience there, which is how you can go through this kind of training.
So that coffee shop is an actual coffee shop?
Like, outside.
Like in the movie The Recruit, you have to go and get someone from the bar and get them out.
Wow. What's the, have you ever had like a really awkward exchange when you're trying to practice something that you learned?
Yes.
We would call it in comedy bombing. Have you bombed?
Bombed.
Okay, tell me about a bomb.
I bombed a lot of times.
Okay, tell me. Well, hopefully not real.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
No, but yeah. So I mean, I've bombed in the real world, like with this coffee example.
Yeah,
it took me 6 attempts before I got a free cup of coffee.
And what happens the first attempt? What do you?
So I think the first time I went there, I tried to talk to a barista.
Okay.
And I tried to just show up and be like, hey, I've got this thing. And I went looking for like a wallet. Like, oh, I don't know where my wallet is. And she was like, well, I can't give you any coffee.
Oh, you tried to guilt her.
Yeah, I was just trying to be like, oh, out of the nice, it's not very effective. It's not part of the training. I hadn't internalized the concept yet, right? So then I went another time, and I was like with a dude and trying to talk to a dude about stuff that I was not connecting with what he cared about. I was telling him about how cool I am.
Okay, how'd you open up to him? What was the first line? This is awesome.
Like, what cup of coffee are you gonna get? I don't remember the details, right? But it was basically something along the lines like, hey, what are you gonna get? And he's like, oh, I was gonna get an Americano. And I was like, oh, the latte's the best.
You started talking about you.
Yeah, you were more interesting than interested.
Why? Correct. Yeah. Why do you want an Americano? What is it?
It doesn't matter. What matters is that the concept was a fail because.
No, what I'm saying is, if you asked him why he likes Americano, you're tapping into what he's feeling.
You seem like the kind of guy that has lattes, and then be like, oh, what does that mean? Like, you're giving him something.
Correct. Yeah. So what you learn from bombing is you learn how other people actually think and how they engage with the communication that you're sharing. You guys know this more than
Fascinating.
anybody, right?
Yeah.
Because when you start to engage with somebody about what they're interested in, now all of a sudden they don't see you as a threat or an outsider. They see you as like a friend.
Yeah.
You make me feel good about me because
Yes.
you're asking me questions about me. I like you.
Yes.
Right? I trust you because you're saying things about me that I also believe. And that's how you get to a place where after 6 minutes in line and you get up to the front of the line, they're like, "Can I buy you a cup of coffee?"
Do you remember the moment that you were asked?
Absolutely.
Okay, what happened?
How'd you do that?
So it was a much older lady. It was like a lady in her 50s.
You son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Okay, good.
And we had been in line.
you just whipped it out. You're like, you seen one of these lately?
I like mocha latte.
Okay, go.
So it was a much older lady, and we were in line, and it became very clear to me that she liked to talk, but nobody would talk to her. So then I just kind of sat there and let her talk. And everything that she brought up, her grandkids, her kids, her cats, her job, I just asked a follow-up question. I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. How did your kids feel about when you retired from accounting? Or how do you take care of 3 cats? Do you feed them canned food, or do you feed them food that you make for them themselves?" And it was just this natural conversation, natural from her point of view, where I was just being nice to her and learning about her, gave her a conversation, which she doesn't get because most people don't want to listen to a 55-year-old woman talk.
Yep.
Right.
And then by the time we got to the actual checkout at the register, she was going to pay with a credit card anyways. So she was just like, "You can put his coffee on mine."
That's amazing.
Now,
And the hardest part is all you want to do is fucking celebrate and get the hell out of the coffee shop and go back and be like, "Here's my free cup of coffee."
But you got to say
can't-
no. Please don't do it.
oh, wait a
No.
minute.
You say yes.
Coffee.
You say, "Oh, that was very nice of you." And then you sit down and you have another 2 or 3 minutes of coffee with her because you've got to find an exit.
That is normal.
Positive.
And amicable.
Now. Okay, you get this success, you get this positive reward, right? Like you said, you want to just run back to the office and be like, "Yo, I did it." Is that ever met with a sense of guilt as I potentially manipulated another human being?
I love that you're asking this
That's
question.
great.
I love that you're asking this question because to get to the place where you're going through that level of training, you've already been psychologically assessed in a realm of antisocial behavior that makes it so that and the people who are training that you're not really wired to feel guilt.